part of this Hi, and welcome to the Wampus Cat football game. Tonight is the playoffs as Rogers is in town to take on your Wampus Cats, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. We'll talk to Coach Fempel about wrapping up the regular season, 8-2, and Coach ran into a buzzsaw down in Saline County. Bryant played a great game.
Yeah, I tell you, they played really well, and in this league, one thing I've learned here conference-wise is that it's almost like watching a basketball game.
Yeah.
At some point, there's one team's going to get on a run, and it's hard to stop the momentum, and especially if you add to it with mistakes, and they get to rolling. So, yes, great season. Seniors, again, can't say enough about them, and now we're going into our last home game right here at home.
So we're playing Rogers at home, and that's an interesting story in and of itself. As we were broadcasting the game, we kept talking about Van Buren. On the drive home, we find out, no, it's Rogers.
Right.
How did you guys find out?
I tell you, we kind of looked at different scenarios, me and Coach Ashcraft and the AD and the rest of the staff, and kind of figured really just kind of found the information on Friday of what was going on up there with the conference and all the stuff that was going on that you usually don't assume with victories and wins and all that. So, yeah, we kind of knew before going into who it was going to be.
Okay. So a forfeit that happened with Springdale Harbor had to forfeit some games. That's what we're talking about, how Rogers moved into that game. Coach Lloyd has been there a while. His son is their quarterback. He's a big, strong-arm kid. We've seen him. This will be the third straight year Conway Rogers has played.
I tell you, you guys have seen him just as much as I have. Man, I played in that conference up there and worked there. Again, you know, he came in. Son's been a great athlete ever since he's gotten there, and has been, part of that program right there. Coach Lloyd, hard teams always play hard. Very sound, don't do a whole bunch, but they're really good at what they do.
And they're coming in with nothing to lose.
Yeah,
it's got to be dangerous.
That's the whole thing. You know, they got in. Hey, let's go shock the world, that kind of mentality. But, you know, again, we've talked to the seniors since Sunday and the rest of the football team. This will be your last home game, so we have a lot to play for here to go out on a good note right here.
How do you see their focus? Since Sunday, they had a chance to get over the disappointment.
Well, I tell you, with last week, Jeff, I did some things I had to evaluate and go back and look at after the Bryant game because we didn't get outside. Tuesday, we got outside for half the practice, had to come in. Wednesday, we didn't get out at all. Thursday, we didn't get out at all. So, again, I don't care where you're at. The temperament there is a little different as far as practice goes, but being able to evaluate what we needed to do this week and get back on track, again, you can see the kids. We've had some great practices, and that always goes, to help them play better.
And every goal that this team has is still in front
it's
of
still
them.
right there. Everybody's 0-0.
That's right.
Just like we talked about, go shocking the state or whatever. Everybody's 0-0. You never know what's going to happen, but you got to play every Friday night.
That's right. We'll tee it up next. Thanks, Coach. Rogers and Conway, first round of the playoffs next on Conway Corp Channel 5.
At Conway Regional, every day brings new challenges and celebrations. And one of those celebrations is being named the #1 hospital in Central Arkansas for overall hospital care. While we're proud of our awards, our team is driven by something more. You. You're our #1. And for us, that's the #1 worth celebrating. One team, one promise. Conway Regional. At Conway Regional, every day brings new challenges and celebrations. And one of those celebrations is being named the #1 hospital in the state for orthopedic care. While we're proud of our awards, our team is driven by something more. You. You're our #1. And for us, that's the #1 worth celebrating. One team, one promise. Conway Regional.
It's playoff time at John McConnell Stadium. Good evening. Jeff Matthews and Levi Gilbert with you live from a very, very cold John McConnell Stadium. It officially feels like football weather. It ought to. It's the first week of the playoffs.
Finally.
I know. It's taken this long. We are about to get underway tonight. Conway and Rogers. Rogers comes in 3-6. They're 2-5 in the conference. They just barely got in, but they're in. And it's a familiar foe for the Wampus Cats, as this is 3 straight years that Conway and Rogers have met in the first round of the playoffs.
To quote a Yankee great, it's deja vu all over again. That's what it is. I get so confused trying to talk with folks about, hey, yeah, we're playing Rogers this week, and they're like, didn't we do that already? Yeah, that was a year ago,
Yeah.
and then the year before that as well.
Conway leads the series 3-1. Conway's won the last 3. All 4 games have been in the first round of the playoffs. It was 2006 when Rogers beat Conway 42-0 on what was one of the coldest nights, literally, that we've ever had at a football game. It was so cold, our stats guy, and it was such a blowout that Scott Taylor was, I believe, at Rudy, Arkansas, about the time the game ended in Rogers, Arkansas. It was very cold. It is cold here tonight, but I'm glad we're inside, so no Mr. Snuffleupagus for yours truly. Feeling good, ready to go.
And I got to say, it is good to be home.
Yeah.
After a rough last week. I'm glad to be back in the friendly confines.
It was a rough last week. All right, let's talk about Conway and Rogers. Your concerns, your worries. What do you got tonight?
I got some concerns.
Okay.
Not full-blown worries. Number one, get back to your strength. Kerry McLean had only 31 yards rushing last week.
A
Feed
week
him.
after he had gone over 1,000 for the year.
Yeah, feed him.
Yeah.
Get him the ball early and often. And then number two, push the pedal down. Don't let them hang around. Get that passing game going. You know, you said it. This is a team that shouldn't be here, really. I mean, they're kind of here on a technicality. Don't give them any opportunities to feel like they should be here.
That's right.
Put the pedal down early. Stay on top of them. And lastly, put on the pressure on defense. This quarterback has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. Let's make him throw some more. Last time we were on this home field, we got 3 interceptions. Let's do it again.
The Wampus Cats have sent their captains to the midfield stripe. They are L.J. Hansberry, number 66. Number 5 is Darius Washington. Number 8 is Cade White. And the young lady that is with them is Carly Ferguson, the MVP of the recent state volleyball championships that the Lady Cats won down in Hot Springs. So Carly is an honorary captain tonight, and I believe she's actually going to be doing the coin toss.
Put her at receiver.
Hey, you know she can go up and get it, right?
Yeah.
Any tipped ball,
And
especially.
if she gets in the end zone, she can spike it.
All right, so I'm just going to let that sit for a second. That was good.
Thanks.
All right, so the Wampus Cats looking to bounce back. It was
Yes.
rough last week. We went into a real buzzsaw. Bryant played very inspired.
You know, and it's been this same path the last 2 years. Bryant in the last week for the 2 or 3 seed, we've lost, but we've always bounced back well, and I expect them to do that again here tonight. And, you know, like we've said, it couldn't really have worked out any better for you because we thought last week on Friday, we thought we were going to see Van Buren or Springdale.
That's right.
And either one of those, you know, they could pose some problems. I'm not saying Rogers can't, but you've kind of got a little bit of a gift here, getting a team that really wasn't planning on being in the playoffs coming to Conway.
If you get all of your high school sports and especially Wampus Cat news from us, then let us fill you in on what's happened since we were last on the air last Friday night. Everything pointed towards us playing the loser of that Springdale Van Buren game, which we talked about at length and watched the live stream in our booth, so we were preparing for whoever we were going to play. Then on the drive home, during the scoreboard show on one of the statewide radio stations, I heard them talking about this forfeit with Springdale Harbor. And Harbor had played an ineligible player, and they self-reported this violation.
Which props to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
For doing the right thing.
They did the right thing. And they actually reported it earlier in the week, and so they had a chance. They had a chance to get that, still win. If they could have beat Fayetteville, then they would have been the 6th seed. They could not beat Fayetteville, and so Rogers played Rogers Heritage, 2 winless teams in the conference in the 7A West, with the winner getting the spot that's here tonight, and that's why Rogers is on this field and Van Buren is not on this field tonight. They actually had a short trip. They're over at Fort Smith Northside to take on the Grizzlies tonight. We will update the other scores as we go throughout the evening. It's playoff time. This is the most fun time of year.
Other good news for Wampus Cat fans, you had 2 injuries a week ago, Tez Miller and Nick Richmond. Reports are that both will be on the field tonight, maybe one a little more than the other, but that's some good news for Conway Wampus Cat fans.
This is the game a year ago when this Wampus Cat team didn't have Michael George. Michael had played, obviously, such a huge year, all-state credentials earned definitely, and was injured late in the season, late in that game against Bryant, and so the decision was made to leave him out of this game a year ago. Worked out fine.
It was a game that Kerry McLean got to step up and really play a huge role, and I believe Giovanni was playing receiver that night.
He
so
was.
It was, some fun things all over the field going on.
So the Wampus Cats are going to get the football first. Luke Bailey is deep to receive, along with Deontay Bennett. Shane Smith back there as well, with his 2 kick returns for touchdowns this year. And we are underway from John McConnell Stadium. Cold night. Luke Bailey takes it at the 5. And he will go right up the middle. Bailey, one man to beat. Jukes the kicker, and then the safety valve catches up with him. Logan Watkins makes the stop, but Luke Bailey goes right between the hash marks and gives the Cats great field position to begin the game.
Luke Bailey rushed for 73 yards a week ago at Bryant, coming in relief. He might have got almost 73 right there on that return.
He went from the 5 to the 39, so a pretty good return for Luke Bailey. Giovanni Johnson will be your starting quarterback. He's had a great season, responsible for 28 total touchdowns this year. Kerry McLean sets up behind him as the running back. 3 wide receivers. Pass out to Bryce Bohannon. Bryce down to the 30-yard line. Tackle is made by Will Sims. Along the offensive line, you've got Robert Scott. Lance Rogers is next to him. L.J. Hansberry is the starting center. Zal Vences and Hayes Denton, they hold down the right-hand side.
I'd love to see them do more of that with Bryce Bohannon, these little drag routes, get him the ball quickly and let him use his speed.
Bohannon in motion. Hand it off to him. Sophomore looking for space. Flag comes in. Bohannon is brought down at the 23. We'll check the flag.
Stats calling for a face mask. I think got up. Oh, holding. Okay. Kind of looked like there was some contact on the face mask in there at the end too, but
officials will talk it over.
You mentioned Giovanni and all the scoring he's done this year. Has 102 points, leads the team, 17 rushing touchdowns.
Okay. He's had a great season, that's for sure. Definitely wanting to bounce back from last week. It was tough sledding all last Friday night against Bryant. North Little Rock, Bryant, Bentonville, and Bentonville West, the top 2 seeds from the Central and the West, and they are off tonight. Bentonville West coaches here in attendance, scouting in person. They'll take on the winner of this one next Friday night at their new stadium, Bentonville West. And been a school for a few years, but finally has their own stadium, and they'll host a playoff game for the first time next Friday night, and we hope that we're there for it. Kerry McLean. Kerry pulls away. There's the speed. Kerry McLean from 30 yards out, and the Cats take an early 6-0 lead.
You nailed it, Jeff. That speed, that offensive line gave him just enough of a crease, and then he turned on those burners, and they couldn't catch him.
Kerry's 7th rushing touchdown of the year. And Will Hogue on to attempt the extra point that Nick McEwen will hold, and Reed Hughes will snap.
Nick McEwen will be the holder.
He's only missed 1 all year out of 45 attempts, and it's 7-0. 10:47 to play in the first quarter. 30 seconds, and we are back on Conway Corp Channel 5.
At Conway Regional, every day brings new challenges and celebrations. And one of those celebrations is being named the #1 hospital in Central Arkansas for overall hospital care. While we're proud of our awards, our team is driven by something more. You. You're our #1. And for us, that's the #1 worth celebrating. One team, one promise. Conway Regional.
10:46 to go in the opening quarter. Conway moves down the field. Big help from Luke Bailey with that opening kickoff return, and then Kerry McLean in from 30 yards out.
That's how you brush off a rough last week. 56-yard kickoff return by Luke Bailey, and just running it all over the field after that.
Kick is taken down to the 25-yard line.
Bailey returns the kickoff.
Kobe Bailey on the kickoff return for
the Rogers Mounties. Let's get the starters on defense for you. Linebackers, Reed Hughes and Parker Prock lead this team in tackles, first and second respectively. Dwayne Smith is out there, so is Cade White. Cade White steps up to the line of scrimmage. Malik Benton and Roman Aaron are your safeties. Tommy Grady gets the start at one of the corners, along with Randy Thomas. And along the defensive line, it's Tony Pasalacqua, Kane Aaron, and Corlin McKinney. Those are your 11 starters for Coach Fimple. So Tez Miller not in the starting lineup, but he is dressed out and standing near the sideline.
You mentioned Parker Prock, 88 tackles. He could have a good night tonight, maybe break to 100.
Penalty on Rogers, so it's 1st and 15. Quick pass, sails incomplete. Pass was intended for Will Sims. Hunter Lloyd is their quarterback. He's got good size. He's 6'4", 202, a junior. You mentioned he's had more interceptions thrown than touchdowns thrown. That's not a great statistic, of course. He's the head coach's son. His dad, Mike Lloyd, is the head coach of the Rogers Mounties.
Which caused some confusion a year ago when we had Matt Lloyd playing linebacker. It was some Lloyd-on-Lloyd action.
Run right up the middle, and there is nowhere to go. That defensive line doing a good job. A couple of linebackers, the aforementioned, Parker Prock and Reed Hughes stepping up in the gap there and making the stop, and it is 3rd down. Corlin McKinney there also. It's 3rd down and 15. Chances are, because I can look in front of me and see a lot of blue seats, there's a pretty good chance that many of you may be watching tonight in a deer camp somewhere or a cabin or something of that nature. And if that's the case,
got the headphones on.
That's right. Let us know that you are. 5 Sports Live on Twitter, or you can find us on Facebook. Interception picked off by Darius Washington. Check that. That's Randy Thomas. Randy Thomas returns it inside the 20-yard line. Thomas steps in front of it for his first interception of the year. Great catch and return, and the Cats are in good position again.
Thomas looked like a receiver out there. Oh, wait.
He was a receiver. He transferred from Bryant, and he was expected to contribute to Bryant in a big way offensively. He's come here, and he's been a defensive back and looked really good there. You know, last week the Cats ran a 5 wide receiver set a few times. Be interesting to see if they did that again and used Randy as one of those 5.
Plug him in.
Showed some good hands there. So the Cats have it inside the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 at the 18. Giovanni Johnson looks over and gets the sign. Movement on the line.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
False start on the Cats, so back them up 5 yards. So, yeah, as we were mentioning, as always, find us on 5 Sports Live on Twitter. If you're on Facebook, find us there and send your messages. We love hearing from you, especially on a night like tonight. It is cold, and I know there's some folks that maybe didn't make their way out to the game that normally would, folks that are traveling. And if that's the case with you and you're watching our stream tonight, we would love to hear about you. And people love the shout-outs, Levi.
They do.
Big shout-out fans out there. Giovanni Johnson on 1st and 15. Looks over the middle. Bryce Bohannon. That ball was behind him. Reaches back and makes the catch. Move the chains. A Conway Regional Health System 1st down.
And you can see the game plan tonight. Get the ball to Bryce.
Third touch tonight.
Yeah, 3rd touch tonight. They've done it in a few different ways. It's the flexibility he gives you, and might be Will McKenna time or Giovanni land. Not sure.
Nick Tufu's in the game. He sets up to the right in that power formation right behind Hayes Denton. Inside the 5-yard line. McKenna in motion. And Giovanni Land will end in a touchdown. 3-yard touchdown run for Giovanni Johnson. That is his 18th rushing touchdown of the year. And Conway's out up 13-0, barely 2.5 minutes into the game.
Give props to this offensive line. They've been doing it all season, opening up holes for that guy, number 4, your quarterback, Giovanni Johnson. 18. That's a crazy number.
14-0 is the score early on tonight from John McConnell Stadium. Cats are on top. We'll take, Oops, he said. That's what happens when you make your own notes. I was writing something very important, I'm sure, and realized that there's something happening.
Illegal forfeiture.
Well, we broke a law.
5-yard penalty. Replay the try.
All right, so Will Hogue will have to do it again. 9:20 to play.
Replay the try. That's a interesting way to say that. I like it.
2 minutes and 40 seconds in, and the Cats are up 13-0.
Looks like there's still some confusion out there.
It's as if our camera operator's trying to find the confusion. There we go.
The penalty was taken on the kickoff. The try is good.
All right, so there we go. As we said, Cats are up 14-0. Back in 30 seconds on Conway Corp Channel 5.
Hey Wampus Cat fans, David Grimes here. I'm a big fan and a proud member of the Wampus Cat Booster Club. And now is a great time to join the Booster Club. Booster Club members get to vote to help induct the class into the new Wampus Cat Sports Hall of Fame. To find out how you can join, go to ConwayWampusCats.com and click on Inside Athletics. Believe me, there's never been a better time to join the Conway Booster Club.
$9:20 to play in the first quarter, and Conway's up 14-0. Levi,
Thomas Robertson checking in on Twitter.
is that Biscuit?
That is Biscuit.
Okay.
Biscuit Rob 77 on Twitter. Go follow him.
Okay.
Cheering on the Cats from Kansas City during a culinary competition.
Oh, nice.
Kansas City culinary. I'm assuming barbecue is involved.
I would hope.
In some form. Yes.
Yeah, ought to be. Also, want to send out a special shout out to Rita and Rick Stapleton, friends of ours and huge Wampus Cat fans. They are unable to be here tonight, and I heard from Rick earlier and said they were going to try to watch tonight as they could, and it's the first playoff game. Listen to this, Levi. I thought we've been doing this for a while. This is the first playoff game that the Stapletons have missed since 2002.
Whoa.
So I hate that they aren't here, and our thoughts are definitely with the Stapleton family tonight. And get here soon. We're about to be on the road next week. If Conway wins, of course, we'll be in Northwest Arkansas. The winner of this game takes on Bentonville West. But it is good to be home tonight.
And if you've been a Conway Wampus Cat fan for that long, there's been a lot of playoff games to participate in.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a pretty good run.
We started the year before that in 2001. Had a chance to do a bunch of these. Hopefully a nice little run this year as well. Lloyd looks to throw. Pass is incomplete.
Great job there by Thomas. The receiver slowing a little bit, coming back towards Thomas, doing a great job of not getting any early contact there.
Randy Thomas had the coverage. Already one interception tonight. Malik Benton leads the team with 3 interceptions. Roman Aaron has a couple. Then there's about 6 different guys with 1 each. Add Randy Thomas to that list. Hunter Lloyd looks to throw. Pass sails on him. Intended for Sims. And it is 4th down and 8.
You know, with that interception, Conway now +8 in the turnover margin on the year. 19 turnovers total. And it's just been another good season for turnovers. They did it last year. They stayed in the positive all year. And when you can do that and have a pretty wide margin like that, you're probably having a good season.
Nick Richmond and Bryce Bohannon are deep to receive.
What is going on?
They are setting up. Well, I have never in my life. Well, clearly that's legal. They set up as if it was going to be a 87-yard field goal attempt. Yeah, as Andy Hawkins, public address announcer, just said, an 87-yard field goal attempt. Maybe they trust their kicker more than they trust their punter.
What is happening, Jeff? What did we just see?
Cats have the ball 1st and 10. Y'all, what is this, 203 games now for us? 204 football games? Never seen that. All right, 1st and 10 Cats. 87-yard. We got to make sure that's tweeted out. Giovanni Johnson throws. Nick Richmond went on the outside of the defender. Pass was thrown towards the inside of the defender. And it's 2nd down and 10.
Johnson passing. Incomplete. Second
I
down.
feel like I feel like I'm in a dream and I can't get out of.
I noticed that Stats was pointing. Like, what's he pointing at? No, the 87-yard field goal attempt is what he was pointing at. 2nd down and 10.
A lucid dream. That's what it feels like.
On the ground, Kerry McLean.
Kerry McLean.
It's about half of the
Lost a yard.
Rogers defense.
Yeah.
Mason Sell steps up and leads the pack.
Looked like there was a little confusion there. Looked like the offensive line was running like a screen because they just let everybody go by.
3rd down 11. Kent.
3rd down and 11. Trips to the near side. Bohannon, McKenna, and Richmond. That's the open field, the ball on the far hash mark. Giovanni will step up and throw for Will McKenna. Can't make the catch. And there is no flag on the field.
He attempted a one-handed catch. That's because his right hand was
occupied.
Yeah, it was being held.
Right.
11. Kent. 45.
A little surprised about the decision there by Giovanni as well. He
I know,
had
yeah.
plenty of room to run and pick up the 1st down. But instead, it is an incomplete pass on 3rd down, and Nick McEwen will be on to punt. Interesting strategy here from Keith Fimple, not going for the 70-yard field goal.
That was bizarre.
Trying to keep you in that dream. McEwen's punt taken at the 16-yard line, and Rogers will have it there 1st and 10.
Logan Watkins.
I
makes
mean,
the catch.
I don't understand what they were doing because obviously you're going to miss it. And, you know, that's a turnover on down. So you're not forwarding the ball anywhere.
Well, since it was blocked and they recovered it, the ball did move from the original line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah, it
But
did.
had it not been blocked, they would have gotten better field position because it would have been put back where they missed the field goal from.
It's bizarre. I don't know what's
Where's
happening.
Brooks? Paging Brooks Smith? Paging anyone else that's watched football for a long time? Anyone else ever seen that? Lloyd will hand off. On the carry, Sammy Zamaron.
Carried.
2nd down coming up.
Malik Benton and Cade White making the stop.
Cade White there to make the stop. Had a chance to visit with Cade's dad this week on Twitter a little bit. They watched the broadcast and said thank you. And certainly appreciate that. And love being able to do these games and certainly have loved being able to have conversations with so many parents this year and fans that watch the games from around the city. Pass is caught by Sims. And a nice run after catch out of bounds at the 47-yard line. That was really close to being picked off. Instead, it's a 1st down.
Roman Aaron trying to get his hand on the ball.
By Tommy Grady at the 44-yard line. 1st down and
Gave
10.
up a little bit of a big play. Might have just, go for the sure tackle. But hey,
That may be what they're talking about.
I
too.
did have, one of my concerns was be aggressive on defense. So I can't fault it.
Because I believe they have your concerns taped on the.
They do.
The
I
board.
send them in to coach every week, and he tells me he puts them up. So
Well,
you
obviously
know it's
he did.
true.
Zamaron with the carry, and he will go nowhere.
He made the smart decision to just go down because Corlin McKinney was getting in the suplex position.
Jalen McEwen was there as well. Corlin McKinney, as we've said before, doing Corlin McKinney things. 6.5 minutes to play. Cade White was down there as well. 6.5 to go. 2nd down and 11. Hunter Lloyd, 6'4", 202, junior quarterback. He started for them a year ago when they played here. Complete to Sims.
Lloyd passes
Out of bounds. In fact, a year ago when these two teams played in the first round of the playoffs, a game that Conway won comfortably 41-14, 13 sophomores started that game for Mike Lloyd's Rogers Mounties, and a year later, those young men are all juniors, and most of them starting again tonight.
It's hard when you're trying to rebuild a program, and it takes some time, and unless you just have some transcendent athletes come through at the right time. It takes a while to get your program how you want it.
Zamron in motion. Lloyd, quick out. Hit right at the goal line, or excuse me, the first down marker. Mason Ross makes the catch.
It's going to be close. Spot looks a little short.
Now they're going to give it to him without a chains coming across the field. So it's 1st and 10 Rogers at the 46-yard line. Peyton Hicks off, Cade White on. We'll keep an eye on the substitutions. See if we see Tez Miller rotate in. I don't think I've seen him come in yet. In fact, Roman Aaron is off the field right now, and Darius Washington is in the game. Pass complete. Lloyd to Sims. 2nd down. Again, this Rogers team got in with the help of the forfeit from Springdale Harbor. They had played Harbor in week 9, and Harbor had won 38-6, but now that counts as a victory. And then Rogers Heritage and Rogers played last Friday night when we were playing Bryant. And the winner of that game, it was the team that got into this game, as it turns out. Mess of a pass there that goes incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Incomplete. It's 3rd down, 7.
Mike Woodrum saying if that was a field goal attempt, the ball should have been placed at the Rogers 21. Officiating fell, is what he said.
Okay. So even though it was blocked, it still should have been put back there. Yeah, that's true, because on the other end. I knew Mike would know. Pass is complete. Inside the 20. Inside the 10. Tommy Grady gets the tackle on the play, but it's 1st and goal now for Rogers. Jace Bray with the catch.
Lloyd faking the pass out to the flats and then finding a receiver in a big cushion in that Conway defense.
1st and goal. Ball at the 7-yard line. Zamron. He's their leading rusher and gets to the 2-yard line.
Sammy Zamron carried.
2nd down and goal.
Washington made the tackle.
Washington on the stop for the Wampus Cats as we go under 5 minutes to play in the opening quarter.
2nd down, goal, Rogers.
Cats scored early twice and had the ball with a chance. Didn't pick up the 1st down, had to punt the ball away, and now Rogers has moved the ball down the field to the 2-yard line. Lloyd will fall straight down. It will be 3rd down and goal.
Like it might have been a fumble.
Hunter Lloyd, 6'4" quarterback. You would
Rogers.
think he could possibly find a little spot there and slide in.
3rd down and goal.
3rd down and goal. Money down here for the Wampus Cat defense. But it will happen after a timeout, which we have on the field. 4:03 to play in the first quarter. Cats up by 14. We'll take 30 seconds and come back on Conway Corp Channel 5.
As we celebrate our 20th anniversary, all of us at Legacy Fencing want to thank you, the citizens of Conway and Faulkner County, for making us your favorite fencing company. Our goals remain unchanged: to provide fencing based on its longevity in years and not solely on the price per foot. We do one fence at a time at a competitive price. For 20 years now, Legacy Fencing has been turning first-time customers into returning customers. That's the Legacy difference.
4:06 to play in the first quarter. Wampus Cat defense working hard, trying to keep Rogers out of the end zone. 3rd down and goal. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Back them up. I know many of you, if you've watched the games this year,
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
many of you that watched the broadcast this year have commented on our sideline camera. And I just wanted to update you on that if you're wondering, well, where are those spectacular sideline angles of the broadcast? Well, they're being worked on. Robin, who is the camera operator, is working on that feverishly to get that ready to go. The rest of our crew all working hard. Our camera folks that are upstairs, Greg and Javon tonight, they are out in the elements. It is a cold night. Going to get down deep into the low 30s. Bad snap. Pass complete. And Dwayne Smith had him up high. A whole host of Wampus Cats down low. And it is 4th down and goal.
Well, just when it looked like things were going well for the Mounties.
Boys shot themselves in their foot a couple of times.
Yeah, penalty, fumbled snap. But now a much more manageable field goal attempt.
If you missed it, Rogers attempted an 87-yard.
You can't even say it.
I can't. They attempted an 87-yard field goal earlier.
And we're not joking.
It was no good. And they'll go for it here. 4th down. Lloyd. Oh, there's a hold. There's an incomplete pass. There are no flags. And the Cats take over 1st and 10. So the Wampus Cats dodge a bullet. Rogers got close to scoring, but unable to get it in. And the Cats have it 1st and 10.
Yeah, nice coverage by Dwayne Smith. If you're Rogers, you know you're going to have to put up touchdowns. You're not going to be able to hang around very long with just field goals. So I don't blame him trying to get something going there, but drive just collapsed. You got as close as the 2. Couldn't finish it off.
Giovanni Johnson in the game along with Kerry McLean. Kerry will run to the right and get to the 16-yard line.
Kerry McLean carries across the 15 to the 16.
Been a fun year for us to do these games. Thank you so much for watching, hearing from a lot of you even tonight that are here at the playoff game. Bruce Henderson came up and said hello and said he's not been able to make it to any games this year, but did tonight and wanted to tell us thanks for the broadcast, and we thank you for watching. And again, if you're in the Deer Woods tonight, or at least preparing for it tomorrow, let us know where you're watching tonight. We won't tell any deer. Up to the 20-yard line, it'll be 3rd down.
We did get a little check-in from Janet Johnson-Bean, who said she's thankful because she's not feeling that great tonight.
Okay.
So
We'll get well.
Thankful to be able to watch from home. She said we're hilarious.
Well,
I just think
could have you written a script that included an 87-yard field goal?
no.
Right.
I think I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just really reacting in astonishment at what I saw.
All right, it is 3rd down and 3.
This offense needs to get a 1st down. They've kind of stalled out.
Complete. Bohannon thrown down at the 24-yard line. That will be enough to move the chains. Sims gets the tackle, but it's a Conway Regional Health System 1st down. And they went back to that play, Levi. You saw it on the first offensive play of the night, and it worked again there.
Yeah, that play action with the drag across the field with Bryce. And, I mean, if you need 3 yards and you can get it to him quickly while he's, in motion, your odds are pretty good you're going to get a 1st down.
Yeah, when he gets a running start. Johnson throws, looking for Bryce Bohannon. Good coverage, and it falls incomplete. Kobe Bailey on the coverage for the Mounties, and it is 2nd down and 10. Mentioning a lot of the folks tonight that are watching, letting us know, and we love doing these games, and we have all season long especially, but a special shout out to the folks down in the truck. Wayne and Ryan and Ashton are in the truck tonight. I don't think I forgot anybody else that's down there. If I have, I apologize, but they have been responsible for showing you things like this, like Kerry McLean pulling away from folks. Kerry McLean 75-yard touchdown run, his second touchdown run of the night. Cats up 20-0.
It's the second time tonight that he's shown us why Coach Fimple says he's the fastest cat on the team.
We thought it was Bryce Bohannon just from what we had seen from just a quick burst. But yeah, when you see breakaway speed like that, Kerry McLean is definitely it'd still be a great race.
Stats was telling me that the defensive back for the Mounties, Kobe Bailey, you saw him on screen earlier. He was dancing to the band. He's out there kind of dancing to our band a little bit. Scott said Will McKenna just blew him up on that run play.
21-0. The Wampus Cats have the lead. Let's take 30 seconds and come back on Conway Corp Channel 5.
This is my home, and here's my hot water heater, located right above my living room. And here's the mess it made when it leaked. Really leaked. Kind of throws off the ambiance, don't you think? Well, I stayed calm and called the experts at All Clean Restoration. So here it is, my living room before the water damage and my living room after. Or as I like to think, my living room before All Clean, my living room after All Clean. All Clean Restoration, proudly serving all of Arkansas.
Will Hogue set to kick off. The extra point was good. It was not pretty, but it was good. And the Cats lead 21-0. Kickoff taken at the 10-yard line to the near side. That's Bailey. Flags thrown from behind. We'll see what that's all about. So do we need to keep an eye on number 7 for any dancing or whatnot?
Yeah. I'd say next time Conway offense is on the field, you might see if we see any more dancing. I'm going to say you probably won't for the rest of the night.
Penalty was against Rogers. And that'll back them up half the distance to the goal with 67 seconds to play in the first quarter. Cats are on top 21-0. They've looked really, really good so far. Jalen McEwen, Corlin McKinney, Kane Aaron are the 3 defensive down linemen. Cade White's in the game. He comes to the near side along with Darius Washington. Randy Thomas over here as well. First down and 10, Lloyd. That's Sims. And that is Cade White, bringing him down at the 10-yard line and helping him up at the 10-yard line. Second down.
Defense playing a little more sound coverage these last few possessions. I'd say Kerry McLean is back on track.
2 touchdowns tonight.
Only had 31 yards a week ago. He's already got 119 on 5 carries.
I'd say that's back on track.
Yeah. Averaging over 20 a carry. That's good.
Lloyd slings it. It is intercepted. Second of the night by Randy Thomas. Thomas down the sideline and steps out of bounds. Inside the 5-yard line, the Cats have it first and goal. Second interception of the night for Randy Thomas.
Thomas came to play tonight, and you love when a game like this can happen, especially here in the first round of the playoffs. Just build so much confidence for your team. You build some momentum, especially coming off of a just really hard loss a week ago.
Yeah.
But you get your confidence back tonight.
In your concerns, you mentioned something about keeping the accelerator down or keep the momentum going or keep your –
I said put the pedal down on offense.
Put the pedal down. That's what you said. How's that going?
And keep the pressure on defense.
Okay.
I'd say so far.
So far, so good.
Kerry McLean has kept the pedal down.
Luke Bailey's in the game. He will provide a block, and Giovanni Johnson will provide the touchdown. Giovanni Johnson into the end zone, his 19th rushing touchdown on the year, his 30th touchdown that he's been responsible for on the season. And the Cats are cruising up 27-0 with 21 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Jeff, there's a good chance he might get to 20 rushing touchdowns tonight.
Good.
For your quarterback. Now, I'm not talking about a running back.
Right. And it's a quarterback that has thrown for 1,300 yards. Hogue's extra point makes it 28-0. Cats up big, and we are just getting to the end of the first quarter. We'll take 30 seconds and come back on Conway Corp Channel 5.
Centennial Bank builds relationships. That's why our bankers roll up their sleeves to support Conway and Faulkner County. They are folks you know and value for mortgages, business loans, and all your personal banking needs. Community involvement and exceptional service from people you know. That's the Centennial Bank way. Centennial Bank's legacy started right here in Conway and is still growing. Centennial Bank, building legacies, one relationship at a time.
Bizarre.
Well, while we were taking our break there was a flag on the extra point attempt. The attempt was good, but it does cost the Wampus Cats 5 yards.
Second time tonight on a PAT that we've had a penalty. I don't know
And they're saying
what's going
illegal
on.
formation. So they're doing something that they've probably done all year, but that official has seen it in a little different way. So another kickoff. Watkins takes it at the 10. Out of bounds at the 23-yard line, it's Logan Watkins. And down to the final 16 seconds of the first quarter.
Kay Reed checking in on Facebook, watching from Hot Springs National Park. She says, go Conway.
Nice. Thank you for that. Again, if you're watching tonight, wherever you are, let us know about it. 5 Sports Live on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. Comment on any of the posts there. Justin King doing a great job updating constantly. And there's been a lot to update. Cats up 28.
Yeah, Jeanette Willis checking in. She says her husband, Gary Willis, is a coordinator on the Chain Gang. Loves being on the sidelines, but he had heart surgery last Friday, watching the game from home since he can't be here in person. So give him a shout out. We are doing that
Absolutely.
right now.
Gary, get well.
Yeah, get healthy, and we'll see you back on the sidelines, I guess, next season.
Very nice. Yeah, it's probably the last home game, even with some, I guess some things crazy things could happen.
You know, somebody could beat North Little Rock. I'm not sure who until we get to
that
them.
doesn't play on Saturdays.
Yeah.
All right, we've played one quarter. Things looking good for the Cats. Conway up 28-0. We will take 60 seconds and come back with the second quarter on Conway Corp Channel 5.
At Conway Regional, every day brings new challenges and celebrations. And one of those celebrations is being named the #1 hospital in the state for orthopedic care. While we're proud of our awards, our team is driven by something more. You're our #1. And for us, that's the #1 worth celebrating. One team, one promise, Conway Regional.
There's only one place in Arkansas to get a delicious grade A choice Chuck steak burger cooked to perfection and served with unlimited hand-cut Idaho fries. David's Burgers. Dine in or enjoy on the go with our takeout. David's Burgers is the right choice when the craving hits.
28-0. The Wampus Cats have the big first quarter lead. We'll begin the second quarter. Second down and 5 for Rogers.
I'm not sure we've scored 28 points in a quarter all season. We've had a 28-point half for sure.
Yes.
Northside, we scored 28 points in the second half to come down from 14 to win that one.
Right.
But 28 points in the first quarter. It's been not, and they really haven't had to do a lot moving the ball offensively. Just a little over 150 yards of total offense. They've had great field position almost every single drive.
Yeah, 2 interceptions by Randy Thomas that were returned. And then the opening kickoff returned by Luke Bailey that made for a short field also. Reed Hughes and Parker Prock team up on the stop. Casey Allred, the running back for Rogers. A lot of talking going on. Good shot there by our camera folks to show that. Tony Pasalacqua and Corlin McKinney hustle in. Kane Aaron there with them.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns all on the ground tonight. 2 for Kerry McLean, 5 carries, 119. 2 for Giovanni, 2 carries for just 5 yards. He's just been carrying it in the within the 5-yard line.
All red. Flipped up by Malik Benton. Good to see Malik back. Injured a couple of weeks ago.
Good to see him moving those arms with ease.
And definitely a leader on this team. We had a chance to meet Malik before the season began. He and Giovanni both came in for our preseason show, and we've seen nothing through 11 weeks of football that would show that those two guys are not two of the most important leaders on this team.
Yeah, so impressed with both of them, even that early on.
All red. He'll pick up the first down.
All red, the ball carrier.
Casey Allred.
Ball's at the 47-yard line. First down and 10.
So the Wampus Cats have had a nice rotation defensively where they've really been able to keep some fresh legs, especially the defensive line, but also you'll see it sometimes with that linebacking core and the secondary where you'll see different parts, different pieces moving in.
And you got to feel like that's going to help you out, especially at this point of the season when other teams might be a little shorthanded. This defense doesn't get very winded because they can run so many guys in there.
Here comes the house at Lloyd. One-handed catch is made. Pushed out of bounds. The receiver was Charlie Laurie, but there is a flag on the field.
2 flags on the field.
A couple of flags. We'll see what they both are. Holding against Rogers.
A nice break for the Wampus Cats. Looked like the Mounties were on their way to another first down.
Holding against the offense. 10-yard penalty. Spot on the foul. Remains first.
Still first down. You know, this Rogers team is interesting. They've obviously struggled. They and Rogers Heritage both have struggled to kind of find their way in the 7A West. But I can't speak for Rogers Heritage because I haven't seen them or really paid a whole lot of attention to them this year, to be honest. But in preparing for this, it's not a lack of numbers. Rogers has got a ton of kids that come out for football, and their roster was right at 100 kids on the travel side. And they're just not finding success. They've got a good coach in Lloyd. They've got an athletic quarterback and clearly some good athletes. You see a few of them going to play collegiately in other sports, but just not all coming together football-wise.
I was in Northwest Arkansas back in the summer, doing a little concert hopping. And, of course, you turn around and you're in Rogers, and then you turn
Right.
left and you're in Bentonville, and it's just all one big glob.
Right.
But I was surprised, and I may be remembering this wrong, but I remember seeing the Rogers population sign, and it was bigger than Bentonville. I may have that wrong. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I'm
I don't know
surprised just
that.
how many people are up there.
Yes, and they do. You're right. They just run one into the next. And that's a beautiful part of our state for sure. We'll be up there next week if things hold like they are right now. The winner of this game plays at Bentonville West next week. Pass was incomplete. Lloyd looking for Sims. Bentonville West actually in Centerton, Arkansas. About 10 miles or so, 5 miles or so to the west of downtown Bentonville. That'll be next week if things continue like they are tonight. And it's the 8.5 to play in the second quarter. The Cats are a touchdown and an extra point away from being on their way to the sportsmanship rule. Question already coming in about that. And the sportsmanship rule does not go into effect until the second half. So even if the Cats do go up 35 here in the first half, that would not be a running clock situation till the second half. Timeout on the field taken by Rogers. We'll take it with them. 8:34 to go in the first half. 30 seconds and we're back on Conway Corp Channel 5.
At Conway Regional, every day brings new challenges and celebrations. And one of those celebrations is being named the #1 hospital in the state for women's health. Plus, we're the only hospital in Conway using state-of-the-art 3D mammography. While we're proud of our awards, our team is driven by something more. You. You're our #1. And for us, that's the #1 worth celebrating. One team, one promise. Conway Regional.
$8:33 to go, first half. Cats are on top 28-0. The talk of the night so far is the 87-yard field goal attempt by Rogers earlier. We called for Brooke Smith, our friend who watches the games and is an official and been around the game forever. And he sent a message, and the message says, "How about that scrimmage kick?" ? And that's what I will type back in a moment is,
What's a scrimmage kick?
What did we just see? I guess it has a name.
You know what I thought of after it happened was maybe like there was someone on their team that's injured or sick, and it was like some kind of tribute to number 87. I don't know. I'm just reaching for anything at this point. But maybe it is. Maybe there's some really simple explanation for what they did.
It was almost a really amazing interception there. Instead, it falls incomplete, and fourth down is upcoming. Here's the thing I'm certain of. There's got to be an explanation.
Yeah, you would think so.
I thought maybe it was like a drop kick, like way back in the day where when they didn't wear face masks, they would take the ball and they would drop it and then kick it.
Here they come again.
Okay, here we go. I for the life of me. So this will be an 80-yard field goal attempt.
Or a scrimmage kick.
Or a scrimmage kick. So let's see what happens. All right, so it goes out of bounds. So it works the same as a punt.
I'm looking it up now.
This is embarrassing.
Hey, we're learning.
That is true. It's an opportunity to learn.
I'm all about learning. Google, what is a scrimmage kick? A scrimmage kick is a punt, drop kick, or field goal place kick. It is a legal kick if it is made by a team in or behind the neutral zone during a scrimmage down before team possession changes. So I guess all of that is technically true.
So then
it's just another way to punt, I guess. Maybe they don't have a good punter, and but they do have someone that can kick from a hold.
So at what point, though, is it not considered just a missed field goal, and you get the ball at the line of scrimmage? Ask Google that.
Google.
Just under 8 minutes to play. Giovanni Johnson looking to throw and does. Complete. Nick Richmond. He had to take a little bit of a slower route to the ball and made the catch. Moved the chains. It's a Conway Regional Health System first down at the 44-yard line.
First down, Wampus Cats.
First and 10 Cats.
So what makes a scrimmage kick legal? Let Giovanni do his thing here.
Looking for Bryce Bohannon. 2 yards beyond his reach. 7.5 to go in the first half. Cats are up 28-0. And we are researching scrimmage kicks.
First, it must be on a scrimmage down. All that means is that these rules don't apply to kickoffs and kicks after safeties.
Okay.
Those are free kicks and are covered in a different section of Reddit, which is what I'm looking at. The kick must be by Team A on a scrimmage down. Simply means that the team that snapped the ball, that's all that means. I don't know. I'm just reading a website at this point.
Giovanni Johnson's pass is incomplete. Will McKenna almost had it.
The kick must be made from in or behind the neutral zone before a change of possession. Unlike forward passes, there is no restriction about where the ball or kicker has been before the kick. That means that even if the ball or kicker has been beyond the neutral zone, the only thing that matters is where the kick actually happens. I don't know.
Doesn't this feel like something that maybe Pulaski Academy made up? With all of their quirkiness that Coach Kelly does?
I think stats is known. It's just maybe they don't have someone that's good at punting, and the way they decide to punt is nice catch, another nice catch by Richmond. The way they decide to punt the ball away is snap it with in a way that looks like a field goal kick. But
so if it's not, but if it just rolls dead, then the ball is where it rolls dead. So my question is, if you're going to attempt, like, let's say that not an 87-yard, but like a 45-yard field goal, and you think, I can really make this. But if you can't, but you could kick it down there inside the 10? That's what I'm wondering if it, well, this is scintillating broadcast, isn't it? Pass complete. Look at Bryce Bohannon. Bryce Bohannon. Bryce Bohannon inside the 10. And he is fun to watch. First and goal inside the 10 for the Wampus Cats. 6:53 to go. You know, speaking of PA, on a further comment on that in just a moment about Coach Kevin Kelly down there. Giovanni Johnson, Kerry McLean's behind him. Already 2 touchdowns tonight for Kerry McLean. Looking for number 3. We'll get inside the 5 and he'll be stopped. It will be second down and goal. Zach Pilstrom on the stop. Kevin Kelly, the head coach of Pulaski Academy. Of course, he's the coach that they don't punt. Every kickoff is an onside kick. Got a very unique way of looking at football. His name is being rumored for the new head coaching job at the University of Kansas. Could you imagine that on a Power 5 level? It would be
college level.
Fascinating, yes. Handoff. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Kerry McLean gets in from 4 yards out, and the Wampus Cats are up 34-0.
Kerry's 3rd touchdown of the night. More credit to this offensive line. They've just done their job tonight and opened up those lanes, made it look easy for both Giovanni and Kerry.
Will Hogue to attempt the extra point. This is not a scrimmage kick. This is actually an extra point because it's a non-scrimmaged down. And we are learning some stuff tonight. Cats are up 35-0. If they hold on to this lead into halftime, then the clock will run the entire second half, and we'll get ready to go to Bentonville West. 30 seconds, and we're back on Conway Corp Channel 5.
Protect your family from fire with Conway Corp Home Security. Install smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors that are monitored 24/7. Stay safe at home and get alerts when you're away. Plus monitoring from your mobile device anytime. We make it easy to protect the things that matter and the ones who matter most. Safety for you, powered by us.
6:11. We've got our best people on this, which means Levi and Stats are feverishly trying to figure out the idea of a scrimmage kick. I'll tell you what's happening on the field, and so far it is total domination by your Wampus Cats. 35-0. Kick goes into the end zone, and Rogers will have it 1st and 10. So we've got 6:09 to play in the first half. The sportsmanship rule, the mercy rule, if you will, is up by 35 in the second half. Then the clock will run. So the Cats have got to hold on to the lead that they have for this final 6 minutes or so of the first half. And then that'll be it. We'll get ready to move on. So far, feeling a lot like a year ago. Cats won big last year, 41-14, and then went to Bentonville West. Had to play on a Thursday night a year ago because Bentonville and Bentonville West were both still playing in the high school stadium of Bentonville High School. Bentonville West has their own facility now, so that game would be on Friday night next week. Allred runs into Parker Prock. Reed Hughes had him down low.
Parker Prock, Reed Hughes, and Tyree Ross.
A.J. Jones, Tyree Ross also in there.
I'll tell you, we're going to see this defense play the hardest it's played
For
on
these
this
next,
possession.
yes. Yep, try to preserve this.
Yeah, do not want to give up a score.
Hunter Lloyd, junior quarterback for Rogers. And there's movement. Tyree Ross got a little excited. Take 5 yards off of what they needed to get, so it's 2nd and 2.
Encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty.
And Tyree Ross will get to come talk to the coaching staff after that.
Barkoff, the ball is at the 28-yard line.
He knows what he did. As soon as he did it, you can tell. So it's 2nd and 2. Coming up on the 5-minute mark of the first half. Allred stood right up at the line of scrimmage. It will be 3rd down. Money down here for the Wampus Cat defense. Levi, you mentioned it. They definitely want to preserve this shutout and preserve the 35-point lead as we approach halftime.
They've held Rogers to 3 of 8 on 3rd down here in the first half.
3rd down and 2. 3 wideouts. Casey Allred set up next to quarterback Hunter Lloyd. Whistle blows. Stats is saying delay a game.
Dead ball. Delay of game.
Always believe stats.
5-yard penalty.
Now it's 3rd down and 7.
After the mark-off, it's at the 23-yard line. It's 3rd down, 7.
3 wideouts on 3rd and 7. The good thing about all this taking so long is the clock continues to run. We're below 4 minutes now. Hunter Lloyd to throw. Pressured, pass complete to Laurie, and he is down at the 25-yard line. It's Charlie Laurie, the senior tight end, that makes the catch and is tackled. Reed Hughes slow to get up. Roman Aaron checking on his buddy there.
Grabbing his stomach, maybe just got the breath knocked out of him.
Could have. So it's 4th down, and so once again we will have the scrimmage kick. And they're setting up about 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, I think it has to do with the formation, too. You'll notice on the right they have several people back behind the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
I think that might also have something to do with it, because it's still basically a punt formation. The way they're lined up is just lined up differently.
Just kicking it as a ball that's being placed down instead of catching it, stepping up, and punting the ball like we see traditionally.
But the question that I still haven't been able to answer is, how do you know it's not a field goal versus it being a punt?
Because a missed field goal, the ball comes to where the ball was snapped.
Yes.
And in the college game, in the pro game, it goes where it's actually kicked from.
And I'm guessing
if we're getting that right, and Brooks might be able to tell us we're not.
And maybe it has to do with the formation. Maybe the formation is different, how many people they have on the line of scrimmage.
Bad snap. Giovanni Johnson is going to run with it. Giovanni turns on the Jets. Giovanni Johnson down at the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Wampus Cats.
That's when you know you're having a good night.
That is true.
When you fumble the snap.
But that is not what you want to see.
When you fumble the snap and then turn it into a 40-yard gain.
Giovanni Johnson hobbling around there a little bit. Let's see if Nick McEwen comes in. He's the backup quarterback. He will not at this point. 3:07 to play. Play clock down to 10. Cats are still in the huddle, and here comes the Rhino formation for the first time since week 1 with Lance Rogers in the backfield. Lance Rogers! Touchdown! Whoop, flags on the field. Let's see, there's the officials talking just to the left where your camera is showing. Let's see what the call is. It's a touchdown. Lance Rogers with his 3rd rushing attempt of the year.
His first since week 1.
First since week 1. He ran the Rhino twice in week 1 and then against El Dorado, and then since then has not been the Rhino quarterback, if you will. It was there, and he got into the end zone. Touchdown, Lance Rogers. Touchdown, Wampus Cats. And the Cats are up 42-0 with 3 minutes to play in the first half. 30 seconds, and we're back on Conway Corp Channel 5.
From setting the budget to signing the papers, we guide you through the home buying process and get you the key. Making better happen with First Security.
6-yard touchdown run by Lance Rogers, who normally spends time as the left guard. That time he was able to take the direct snap in the Rhino and get in from 6 yards out, and the Cats have a comfortable 42-0 lead. Coming up at halftime, we will have the Conway Regional Health System halftime report. Also part of that halftime show, we'll look at the other scores from around the state in the first night of the state playoffs. We'll also visit with our friend David Grimes, who we've had on before. He's going to talk to us about the first class of inductees of the Wampus Cats Sports Hall of Fame. Great list of former Wampus Cats that are going to be inducted in this first class, and we'll go through that list with David coming up at halftime tonight.
All red carries.
All red on the carry, and Caden Smith on the stop, number 37.
Smith showing some strong hands as he gets that grip in there and doesn't let go.
He's had some good snaps this year. He hasn't played a tremendous amount, but it seems like when he's on the field, we say his name often.
Yeah, he's come in more and more often as later we've gotten in the season. Rachel Lipscomb checking in from Hot Springs for the state dance team competition tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So
good luck.
Yeah, good luck to the dance team.
Definitely. That's very cool. Hot Springs was good to Conway already this month with the state championship for the girls volleyball team.
Yeah, it was. I got a chance this week to talk with Coach Crow.
Oh, nice.
Doing a little story in 501.
Good.
December issue, which will be out probably late next week. And she was great. Great interview. Just gave me so much information. And
had to be thrilled, right?
They just had a great run. She's been here 18 years.
Has she really?
This is the first championship. They won 20 years ago, but it was before she was here.
Okay.
She said they've gotten close a few times. They lost. They got there one time and lost, and so congrats to her and that group of seniors.
All red, taken down. Roman Aaron flies through there and makes the stop. Roman Aaron is so fun to watch. He's out there at the safety, but he's following the play, and you can see him. His eyes are on the ball, and as soon as he knows it's a run, he is there in the backfield, makes the stop, and fourth down is upcoming.
If you're keeping score on the Aaron tackle competition,
oh yeah,
Roman still has the lead coming into the game, 49, Kane 47.
Okay.
So we'll see how it shakes out by the end of the night.
Scrimmage kick here for the Rogers Mounties. It is going to go out of bounds, and the Wampus Cats will have good field position once again with just less than a minute to play in the first half. Say the ball went out of bounds at the 48-yard line, so 1st and 10 at the 48.
See if Giovanni comes out. He was limping a little bit after that big run on the last possession.
And he will not. It'll be Nick McEwen now to take the snaps here at the end of the first half, and you would think probably seen the last of Giovanni. Get him 100% before next week. On the ground, Luke Bailey. Short gain, it'll be 2nd and 9. Luke Bailey's found the end zone 3 times, and they've all 3 been here in the last couple of weeks. Cats up 42-0. Approaching the end of the first half, and the second half scoreboard will go quickly because it'll be a running clock, and we will get ready to head to Northwest Arkansas.
It's only fair that we have a quick game tonight because we'll have a long trip next week.
That's a very good point. Yeah, it's a haul up there. Look at that, Jabrian Earl. Jabrian Earl running with some passion down to the 36-yard line. It's a Conway Regional Health System first down, and Jabrian Earl. It's been fun to watch when he's gotten in this year.
You know we're going to hear from T.M. Pickram soon. Jabrian's mom. She's going to be excited about that one.
Jabrian, 5'9", 200-pound junior running back. And yes, mom very active on social media with us. We appreciate that. That's going to do it, y'all. First half is over. The Wampus Cats lead 42-0. When we come back, we'll have the Conway Regional Health System halftime show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Greg Kendrick with Conway Regional Health System. Conway Regional has been an important part of this community since 1938, providing excellent care with skill and compassion. But we're not just a hospital. Let me tell you about some of our fantastic facilities and services. Located off of College Avenue, just a few blocks down from the medical center, Conway Regional After Hours Clinic is equipped to handle a wide variety of problems for patients of all ages. If you need urgent care, and it's after work or on the weekend, the Conway Regional After Hours Clinic is open 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Conway Regional After Hours Clinic, your best option for after-hours care. Located on Robinson Avenue next to Laurel Park, The Conway Regional Rehabilitation Hospital is one of only 4 licensed inpatient rehab hospitals in the entire state. Patients are cared for by specially trained staff under the direction of an on-site physician who specializes in rehabilitation medicine. Conway Regional Rehab Hospital, your choice for comprehensive care to bring you one step closer to home. With 4 locations in Conway and Greenbrier, some with extended clinic hours, our dedicated team provides therapy services, including physical, speech, and occupational therapy, aquatic therapy, cardiac rehabilitation, sports outreach, and pelvic floor rehabilitation. At Conway Regional, we are committed to providing all of our patients the highest quality of care.
It is halftime. The Wampus Cats have the lead 42-0. Jeff Matthews and Levi Gilbert with you in the booth, and joining us right now is David Grimes. David was with us a few months ago, or it's been a couple months ago, I guess now, to talk about the Hall of Fame and everything else that was going on with the Booster Club. Well, you're here tonight on a very special night. We've got the first class of inductees.
That's right. The board met earlier this week to select the first class, and to kick things off, we selected a double class of 12. So the class of 2019 was announced today, and I'll go ahead and just read the names.
Yeah, let's hear the list.
Yeah. Well, it's Marvin Delf, Henry Hawk, Tim Horton, Julie Jiskra, Greg Lasker, Mike Newhoffel, Mike New, J.B. Pendergraft, Lawson Pilgrim, Ernest Ruppel, Kenny Smith, and Dandra Thomas.
It's a great list. Great list.
It is a great list. I tell you, our committee had its work cut out for it. Of course, the Booster Club got the first crack of the vote. They voted on their top 6, and I'll give our Booster Club a lot of credit. They did a great job. Their rankings were really, really good. We did not really have to deviate much from what they did, but it's a great class.
Yeah, we're excited about it. Now, when will the induction be?
The induction is May 16th here on the Conway High campus at the cafeteria. We'll have tickets on sale after the first of the year, but all the inductees have been notified. They've all said they can attend, so we should have all 11 there. Of course, Dandra is deceased, but her mother will be there.
Good.
But all of them will be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you for coming by. I know you got some other stops you have to make, and we're going to catch the band's performance, but I'm sure we'll talk again before then.
Thanks again, Jeff.
Thank you, David. Appreciate you very much. All right, it is halftime. 42-0. The Wampus Cats have the lead. Let's go down to the field and the Wampus Cat Marching Band.
gentlemen, the Conway Wampus Cats Marching Band. Band is under the direction of Robin Ratman, Paul Taylor, and Nathan Cunningham. Percussion instructor, Matthew Hines. Flag coordinator, Lauren Lacey. Majorette coach, Stephanie Grinder. As always, the band thanks our community, Board of Education, Administration, and Band Booster Club for your continued support.
Fayetteville 38, Little Rock Catholic 10 at the half. Portsmouth Northside 28.
And welcome back to John McConnell Stadium. It is halftime. Hope you had a nice little break there. We had a chance to visit with David Grimes for a few moments and then hear the Wampus Cat Marching Band, which that was a treat. I didn't think the band marched during the playoff games.
I don't recall them doing it last year for sure. But
at least if I'm wrong, we're both wrong. So anyway, but they performed tonight, so that was great to hear their performance once again. And then hope you had a couple of minutes to get warmed up if you're outside at all. It is a cold, cold night. Going to get down into the low 30s, upper 20s by the time everything is said and done. Let's check the other scores for you real quick. There's 3 other games going on in the 7A state tournament tonight. Obviously, our game, 42-0, and Conway's going to win and move on to play Bentonville West. 2 of the other games aren't very close. Northside is leading Van Buren 28-0, so Northside looks like they're on their way to moving on to take on Bentonville next week. Fayetteville is taking care of Catholic 38-10. So Fayetteville's on their way to moving forward to take on Bryant, a team that they beat earlier this season by 1 down in Bryant, so a rematch there. But then the other game is a tight one. In fact, it couldn't be any tighter. Springdale and Fort Smith Southside, they are tied 21-21 at halftime. The winner of that game, they get the task of going to North Little Rock and taking on the Charging Wildcats next week. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Looks like the others are all but decided. But we'll watch that Springdale and Southside game. 42-0. Obviously, a lot of work for stats in the first half. What are you seeing that stands out to you, Levi?
Not really much to talk about. I'm just kidding.
I know, just another 6-3 first half.
I will say though, 42 points. It sounds like a lot, and that's because it is a lot of points. But very efficient in terms of offensive total yards, because just 262 yards of offense for your 42 points, because they've had amazing field position all night. It started with Luke Bailey, had a 53 or 56-yard kickoff return. They've had a couple interceptions, so they've just had good field position all night. Haven't had to move the ball a whole lot to get to those 42 points. Kerry McLean leading the way, rushing 7 carries, 127 yards, 3 touchdowns. Giovanni, 2 touchdowns on 3 carries for 33 yards. And then Lance Rogers.
I love it.
His 3rd carry of the year, his first touchdown.
The senior gets in the end zone in what will most likely be the final home game at John McConnell Stadium. The only way that the Wampus Cats could play another game here would be if we beat Bentonville West next week, because we're going to play them now that we can go ahead and use the Sharpie to move that along. But if either Springdale or Southside were to knock off North Little Rock next week, we would be the highest seeded team left, so we would host. So there's an outside chance, but we've seen North Little Rock play, so we're pretty confident.
Yeah, when you were talking about that Springdale Southside game earlier and the winner gets to play North Little Rock, I was thinking, if I was playing in that game, I might just lay down. I don't know.
I tell you, that second-round matchup, though, our game against Bentonville West ought to be a really good one. But the other matchups are good, too. It'll be Bentonville and probably Fort Smith Northside. And then Bryant and Fayetteville. Once again, those two teams matching up. They played during the non-conference season. It was a game that Fayetteville won by a point down in Bryant, and they will play each other once again next week in the second round of the playoffs.
A few things that we haven't mentioned tonight, things that I was just kind of watching as we've gone along. Giovanni came into the game 46 yards away from 2,000 total yards, so he's definitely gotten that tonight because he had 97 yards passing and then 33 yards rushing. He's 1 rushing touchdown shy of 20, so expect to see him get that next week. Don't expect him to play anymore tonight.
Right. Or next year for the Wampus Cats,
for
that matter.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has used up all of his eligibility. Another thing I was watching pretty closely was Bryce Bohannon. He came into the game tonight 111 yards shy of 1,000 all-purpose yards on the year. He has caught 4 passes for 59 yards, but hasn't done any rushing. There hasn't been any opportunity really to return any scrimmage kicks or whatever you want to call it. So he's not going to hit that mark tonight, but he's getting closer.
Caden Smith on the stop of Sammy Zamaron. Yeah, that's the other story from the first half. Not only did the Cats score 42 and take the big lead and the clock running here in the second half, but also we were introduced to something. And you think, well, you've seen it all. I've been doing this a long time. I've earned these grades, but No, we saw something tonight I've never seen. I don't think you've ever seen. Stats has never seen it.
If
The
I have it,
scrimmage kick.
it certainly wasn't in a high school game. I mean, you never know. Maybe you've seen it in college and just
maybe
we're half asleep.
But this whole idea of a scrimmage kick, and we talked to a few other people. I talked to Brooke Smith, one of our resident experts and friend of the program, and he said that it's probably they don't have a good deep snapper. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Maybe don't have anybody that's confident punting the ball, and so it is just a way. But I think you and I still have the same question, and I'll, just out of curiosity's sake, going to do some research this week. At what point does it go from being, or what makes it a scrimmage kick versus a field goal attempt? Pass is complete. That's out to Lori.
I did have one person chime in on that. I can't recall who it was, so sorry. I'll look later. But typically, when it is a field goal attempt, it's going, even if they don't make it, it's going out of the end zone. So it's, it's
So
pretty.
even if,
it's pretty clear at that point that
Yeah.
it's going to be a turnover on down, so you get it back wherever it was kicked.
well, and
There's no opportunity to return it. Although sometimes you do see
it, like
teams return.
the
yeah.
kick six happened between Alabama and Auburn a few
Exactly,
years ago.
yeah.
So, Jace Bray, correction, I had Laurie with that catch, but it was Jace Bray made the catch. Pass is incomplete that time. Pass intended for Mason Ross, and it is going to be third down. So just very peculiar, but kind of fun to see something different.
Darian Criswell and coverage there. Doing a good job getting a hand on the ball. It's looking, the more and more I read about it, it's really pretty simple, but it's just you don't ever see.
Well, we haven't made it, have we?
You just don't ever see people do it.
Yeah.
And so it's confusing because it's so out of the norm for what you expect on a fourth down in a punt situation.
Hunter Lloyd to throw. Caden Smith picks it off. First interception on the season for Caden Smith. He'll return it to the 40, to the 35, still on his feet, to the 33-yard line. Third interception on the night for the Wampus Cat defense. Caden Smith picks off that one, and the Cats are in business once again.
3 is the lucky number. The last 2 home games had 3 interceptions this defense has. 2 of them coming from in the second half.
Pass was underthrown, and Caden Smith did not miss the opportunity. Darian Criswell out there providing a block. And as expected, Nick McEwen will take the snaps. We're in the second half with the clock running. Deontay Bennett. Spun down at the 28-yard line. Kobe Bailey, who's been talking a lot, number 7. Gets up, makes the play.
Yeah, he's been a little chatty tonight. Even with we've heard he's been a little chatty with some of our coaches tonight.
That's the word on the street. Yes. Second down and 5.
He's got a long trip home.
Sit and think about it.
Yeah, he can think about it.
Second down and 5. Nick McEwen, junior quarterback. Nick sees a lot of playing time. Holds on kicks. He's the punter for the Cats, backup quarterback. Baseball player, movement along the offensive line, and it's going to be, it's like Eric Lee might have moved a little quickly. That's probably not fair to Eric Lee. First time I've said his name all year, and there may have been a flag on him. So,
well,
5'9", 215-pound senior. There are 2 number 54s, but I'm assuming that was Eric. He's the senior.
One other thing I didn't get to talk about tonight that I put in my notes, so I'm going to talk about it now. Giovanni didn't really pass a whole lot. He was 6 of 11 for 97 yards, so didn't have to do much passing tonight. But your top 3 receivers for the Wampus Cats, no surprise, Nick Richmond, Will McKenna, and Bryce Bohannon. But they are so close, their numbers. It's just like a nice little stack. 24 catches for Richmond, 407, and 5 touchdowns. Coming into tonight, he had a few balls tonight, so it's changed a little bit. McKenna came in with 22 for 392 and 4, and then Bohannon 27 for 378 and 1. So there's just a nice little competition going on between those 2 seniors and then the sophomore Bryce.
McEwen will throw. Pass is caught, but out of bounds. Catch was made by number 6. That is not Will Hogue. That is Aaron Cottle. Will Hogue, our kicker, also wears number 6, of course. But that's Aaron, a 5'9", 155-pound senior. Made the catch, but he was out of bounds. Once again, with the score being 42-0, the mercy rule, the sportsmanship rule that AAA has in effect is happening. So the clock will run throughout the entire second half, and we'll wrap this one up pretty early tonight.
I did have several people asking on 5 Sports Live, how does the mercy rule work? And so we explained it.
Yes. 4th down and 10. Cats are going to go for it. Deonta Bennett pulling away. Bennett into the end zone. Touchdown. Deonta Bennett.
Look at him.
The senior scores his 2nd touchdown of the year. He scored in the rain down at Little Rock Central and gets into the end zone there.
I just love it. I love watching his teammates react because every time he's got it to come in and play, I just want to meet him because he must be just, you know, a great teammate because everyone gets so excited every time he touches it.
Just surrounded him. That's great. $49-0 following Will Hogue's 7th extra point of the night. Cats are up big. Just under 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. We will take 30 seconds and come back on
At Conway Regional, every day brings new challenges and celebrations. And one of those celebrations is being named the #1 hospital in Central Arkansas for coronary bypass surgery and cardiac care. While we're proud of our awards, our team is driven by something more. You. You're our #1. And for us, that's the #1 worth celebrating. One team, one promise. Conway Regional.
Deonta Bennett scores, and the Cats are up 49-0. During halftime, we spoke with David Grimes from the Conway, the Wampus Cat Booster Club, also, of course, running the Wampus Cat Sports Hall of Fame, which announced today their expanded class. They're announcing 12 in this inaugural class, and then in the future, I believe the idea is to have 6, one for each of the legs of the Wampus Cat. But this year they're doing 2 sets of them, and a lot of names there that you'll recognize. But one that I wanted to take just a moment to spend a little bit of time talking about, and that's our buddy Kenny Smith. Coach Smith inducted into this first class of the Hall of Fame, and obviously very, very deserving. There's no one that loves the Wampus Cats as much as Kenny Smith does. Was a coach here from 1991 to 2008, longest tenured football coach at Conway. 6 conference championships, 13 playoff appearances, 129 wins, or a school record. Of course, Coach Peyton Hillis, who you can assume will join him in that Wampus Cat Sports Hall of Fame at some point. So congratulations to Coach Smith. Had a chance to visit. His daughter actually works at Conway Corp, and I was visiting with her today, and she said, "Did you hear about Dad?" Margaret, and I said, "Yeah, I did. It's exciting." And she said he was so excited about it. And so just a great culmination to a career and really a life that's been spent loving the cause and moving the cause forward of Wampus Cat athletics and Wampus Cat football.
I didn't get to spend as much time with Coach Smith. My first year covering Conway was 501 Life's first year of publication. We did a football issue that very first year. And it turned out to be his last year as head coach. So I got to interview him for that, and I mean he was a character for sure.
That's a great word for him.
He was a great interview.
Yes, he was a fantastic interview, and we would. He was one of those coaches. You ask a couple of questions, and then 10 minutes later you were finished with the interview. Knows his stuff. Tip, incomplete. Flag comes in. There'll be a pass interference call. Dylan Silverman Barnes wearing number 4. Got in there a little early on Will Sims. That'll be in May that they'll have that induction ceremony of the 12. Official needs a lozenge or something. I don't know what happened right there.
I couldn't tell if he was laughing.
I thought he was laughing too.
I thought he was
like. It's like we're past the 87-yard field goal thing. I mean, that's no longer even funny. We understand what that's all about. 1st and 10, Rogers out at the 38-yard line. So in your time around Wampus Cat athletics, Who would you think would be a Hall of Famer out of the people that you've covered?
Well, Jeff Matthews, of course.
Well,
I mean, that would be my first.
That's very kind.
My
Thank
first
you.
vote. Are you talking what, coaches
Athletes,
or
yeah.
athletes?
Just those that contributed to the Wampus Cat athletics.
Well, I think Jordan Danbury has to be on that list at some point. I mean, 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year.
Yes.
I think. And she had, one championship, so I think she'd probably be on the list. Out of just the athletes I've covered and the accomplishments they've had, I think she'd probably be my runaway pick.
She's starting at Mississippi State now on what is just one of the power programs in college basketball. Speaking of women's college basketball and former Lady Cats, Alexis Tolfree led the Lady Razorbacks, or the Razorbacks women's basketball team. Today scored 19 points in their first game this afternoon against Northwestern State of Louisiana, a Southland Conference school that UCA plays. And she had 19 to lead the team in scoring, so it'll be fun to watch Lex play for the U of A.
I think Coach Boucher will probably be up high on that list as well with what he's done with Conway baseball, and I know they've probably not got as many rings as they would have liked, but I think they've gotten at least one in the last 10 years that I've been covering Conway. Which that's crazy to say that I've been covering Conway sports for 10 years, but
it's a great thing, and I'm glad they're doing it. There's a lot of worthy inductees over the years, and I didn't get a chance to talk to David about what the criteria is. Do you have to be removed from Conway High for a certain number of years before you're eligible in whatever role that might be? There's the kick that goes out of bounds again.
It's called a scrimmage kick.
Oh, here we go. Andy Hawkins. Stats told him that. Well, he acted like he knew it. He had to give you some credit. Andy Hawkins, the public address announcer, just said it's called a scrimmage kick.
Yeah.
And it is, indeed.
The other person that I would say, and of course I'm looking at people that have been active in the 10 years that I've been covering. Now, obviously, there are athletes that I haven't covered that belong on this list, and we'll get there very soon, I'm sure. But I don't know what their stance is on media, but I think David McCollum would deserve an induction.
Without a doubt, yeah. And again, I don't know what the criteria is either in that regard, but yeah, David would definitely deserve induction into any Hall of Fame of the schools that he worked covering, and it's still strange. We're into a season that he's not around, and UCA basketball is where I would really see him the most because of where I sit to do the public address announcing. David would sit right across from me, and so I would see him all game, every game. And so football, I wouldn't see him as often, and here in the football games for Conway, wouldn't always see him as much, but of course, UCA basketball definitely would.
Because we haven't outright said it, but David passed away.
Yes.
Gosh, I don't know. I can't remember exactly when it was off the top of my head, but it was after the basketball.
Yeah, it was back
tournament,
in late spring.
Which that was the last time I saw him. Was
Me
at
too.
the state tournament, and we had a couple games there that we were down in the hospitality room together, and for some reason I didn't sit with you guys. I went and sat with David.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that I did.
Flag on the field as we've come to the end of the third quarter. We'll see what this is.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
All right, so that wraps up the third quarter. We'll come back with the final 12 minutes. Cats going to win tonight. They're up 49-0. 60-second break, and tonight Mason Choate has got his Wampus Cat report. Final one of the regular season for football. For football season. Let's get that now from Mason.
Thanks, Jeff. The basketball teams kicked off their season on Tuesday night with Basketball Madness, where middle school through high school teams scrimmaged against each other. The varsity girls team, led by Reagan Rotzel and Asia Smith, kick off their season next week with the Dandra Thomas Invitational. And the varsity guys team, who are led by Terry Clardy and Caleb London, will start their season next week against Fayetteville. The boys and girls swim team both won their meets at UCA last week, led by performances from Logan Dawson, who won the 100-yard backstroke, and Emily Holman, who won the 50-yard freestyle. Congratulations to Kate Fraudenhoven, Sarah Holman, Brady Pasco, and Cade Swindle for being named to the Arkansas All-Star Cross Country team. For Wampus Cat Athletics and Channel 5 Sports, I'm Mason Choate.
Thank you, Mason. Yep, Mason showed, boy, it's been great to have his Wampus Cat report all season long. And I said that's the final regular season football. Obviously, we're in the playoffs now, but that's the last of the Wampus Cat reports. It'll happen during the football season. And as we will continue on, we'll kind of an interesting time on the sports calendar. Everything that's happening now is kind of in its infancy, except for football. And then everything will be really in the heart of its season when we get started back up with basketball in January. So we'll have the Mason Choate reports, the Wampus Cat report, coming back up in January.
I keep thinking of players for the Hall of Fame. Sorry,
okay.
Summer Rochelle. I mean, she's got to be on that list, too.
I would put her on that list. And the two people that I thought of first when I looked through the list and was a little bit surprised they weren't on it was Peyton Hillis. I really thought Peyton and what he did. But and again, that might be part of the criteria is you have to be away for a certain number of years. I don't know that. But and the other I thought was Bryce Mulder, who retired now, PGA touring professional, but was a 4-time All-American at Georgia Tech, won on the PGA Tour, made a ton of money and had a lot of success on the PGA Tour. And so I would think Bryce at some point would be inducted into the Wampus Cat Sports Hall of Fame as well. But it's a great thing. I love that they're doing it. And good on you to David Grimes and the rest of the folks. I know Coach Ashcraft was very much involved with the start of that as well.
I think we need a campaign for a 5 sports vote. You know, we need a vote on this.
Well, we could join the Booster Club.
Okay, let's
and
do
we
it.
would get a vote.
Let's do it.
I don't mind doing that. Handoff and a good run up to the 30-yard line. That's Jamal Bethune. Wren on the stop. Checking the other scores, we've still got a close one between Southside and Springdale. In fact, again, it's as close as it can get. It's tied. Tied at 21. Northside is up over Van Buren 35-0. The clock running there in the fourth quarter, so they're going to win that game. And Fayetteville up 38-10 over Catholic, so they are close to being at the mercy rule there. But that Southside Springdale game, that one's going to come down to the very end. Tied at 21. Again, the winner of that game gets North Little Rock next week. So
every
we'll
time
see.
you say that, I'm like,
I know it's like who wants that?
We want it a week from
Black
2 weeks from now is when we want it.
Injury on the field while they are working on the Rogers player. Let's see if they'll get him. You know, obviously the Wampus Cats are going to win. This game's been in under control for quite a while. And so as the game is coming to an end, these final 10 and a half minutes or so, certainly what you don't want to see is anyone get hurt. And then just so you hope for his sake, and it looks like he's making his way off the field all right, the injured Rogers Mountie, Brian Wade. Nick McEwen on. 10:26 to play in the game, and as soon as they start winding the clock, which they just have, the clock will run. And we'll have 10 more minutes of football tonight, and then we'll wrap it up and get ready to head to Northwest Arkansas next week. We'll be live on the air, 6:50 airtime, 7 o'clock with the kickoff from the new Bentonville West Football Stadium in Centerton.
On a Friday this year.
On a Friday night.
Not on a Thursday like we had to do a year ago.
That's right.
It was a special game a year ago going up there and pulling off an upset.
Thrilling.
And I just remember after the game watching the players, how excited they were, and you know.
And that was a great setting because we were in the stands and really close to the players, so we got to get down there. Want to mention some of these other players that are making their way in. Cameron Leach is in the game, a 5'9", 150-pound sophomore receiver. McEwen kept a couple of good Wampus Cats, Steve Beal and Brooks Smith, who is always our helper with anything stats related, just both walked up here and held their hands up as if it were a fire, as if our press box was providing some heat because it is cold outside. 9 minutes to play.
Got your heaters on now for sure.
Yeah. Stats doesn't. Third down and 13. Handoff. Nice run to the 20-yard line. That's Gabe Singleton.
Gabe's listed as a quarterback on our roster.
5'10", 210 pounds. And big Jaden Williams running there with him is 6'4", 230. That's some good size on that sophomore. Jaden Williams, we'll be seeing more and more of him, I'm sure, over the next couple of years.
Yeah, let's build him up.
It is good to see some of these other players get a chance to be on the field. Mentioned Cameron Leach. Comes from a great Wampus Cat family. Also in the game right now is Luke Williams. Handoff. Crosses the 20-yard line, real close to a first down. It was 4th and short. Jabrian Earl had the carry. So we know that's a long trip next week, so if you're not going to make the trip to watch the Wampus Cats again, we will have the ball game for you live as we have all season long. 650 live on Channel 5 and 585 on Conway Corp Cable or online at YouTube. You can find the link at conwaycorp.com/WC2Go, Wampus Cats 2 Go. And we'll have the link posted so you can watch it there. Pull it up on folks watching their smart TVs and whatnot. And so glad that you're able to enjoy the game one way or the other. Singleton on first down.
Springdale just got a huge fumble recovery all the way down to the 10-yard line. So they're knocking on the door of taking the lead against Southside.
And that Southside team, we know how dangerous they can be. Tay Gatewood, of course, is their quarterback, and Springdale's had a great year. In fact, this is their first home playoff game, I want to say since like 2003 maybe, if that's the...
Mitch Mustaine?
Probably, well, yeah, since Mustaine, so that would have been more later than 2003, but it was during that time.
I went to a Springdale game at home in 2006 when Mitch Mustaine was playing. So
or
I guess it would have been 2005 in the fall. But.
So probably then, yeah, maybe since 05. So Springdale and Southside again battling to see who gets to travel to North Little Rock next week, and Springdale has taken the lead. And the reason we're giving you score updates from Springdale and Southside is because that's the only game that's even remotely close among the 7A games right now. Fayetteville is leading Little Rock Catholic 38-10. Northside is beating Van Buren 35-0, so they've got the clock running there. Of course, the clock's running here with Cats up 49-0. Singleton takes the handoff. Got tripped up by his own feet a little bit on the 20-yard line. It'll be 4th down. Creed Bean checks in the game. Lucas French also in. This might be one of those cases. Yeah, I think that's Lucas French. We've got 281s on the field, or 281s on the roster. Both are wide receivers. Trip Tolke, the other one. Or is it Tolke? I never know how to say that last name.
I just love that Conway has so many players that you have to duplicate numbers.
Yeah.
It's a nice problem to have.
Depth is not an issue. Singleton on 4th down will be brought down at the 20-yard line. And with 5:04 to play, the clock will stop. Our clock on the scoreboard running down to 4:57, but it is 5:04 left to play. Clock doesn't stop often, but it does on a change of possession. So 5 Sports Live, follow for updates all this week. And we'll get you ready for the playoff game next Friday night. Conway at Bentonville West. Bentonville West will be looking for revenge. They had a great season a year ago, and they thought they were about to roll on through. And Conway went up there and got the win. And now this year, playing on their home stadium for the first time, they want to hosting their first ever playoff game in that stadium against us next week. They are not going to want to go down without a fight.
What's great about that is Conway, we went to Bentonville twice last year and picked up wins. So this team, this group of seniors and juniors, they're fully comfortable making that long trip, and they've had success there, recent success there. So, expect them to come out and play as you would expect them to play their best game.
Their receiver that you might remember from a year ago, Jaden Jackson, has committed to play at Ole Miss. Will Jarrett, their quarterback, is a good one too. On the last play, Camden Norwine got the stop. Good to see Camden get in there and get a play. senior, 5'10", 165-pound linebacker. His stepdad is J.R. Runyon, who we see every week. He's the radio voice of the Wampus Cats, and during senior night a couple of weeks ago, J.R. was working, so he didn't get a chance to be on the field for all of that, but I know he and his wife Deanna are super proud of Camden Norwine. Good to see Camden. The other son, Pierce, great kid too, and a lot of good things happening. Former Wampus Cat, Pierce Norwine. 3:44, clock will run. The Cats are going to move on. Another note about tonight's win. With the win tonight, Cats are going to go to 9-2 on the year. And with this win, Keith Fimple is going to have the best first-year record of any head coach for the Wampus Cats since 1977. Jerry Joe Harrison went 11-1 in his first year in 1977. Since then, every first-year coach, there's been a few since then, not a whole lot, but there's been a few since then. None of them have had a better record than Keith Fimple's about to have at 9-2.
Yeah, and you know sometimes the record doesn't mean much. I remember Ashcraft's first year. I think they were 3-7, and they went on the road.
Ended up being 5-7.
Yeah.
Right.
So you just never know.
Yep.
But it is nice to have that much success in your first year as a head coach.
Well, and the other thing about next week is going to Bentonville West. You talked about the players and the success they've had up there making that trip. Well, that's going to be a homecoming of sorts for Coach Fimple. Passes complete to Sims from Lloyd, and he will be taken down at the 45-yard line. Not that he coached at Bentonville or Bentonville West, but he did coach in Northwest Arkansas. Coached at Fayetteville and at Springdale Harbor. And so he is very much in tune with what those schools do, how they do things in Northwest Arkansas, what the schemes are. And he's coming from that. So next week should really be a great football game. Lloyd rolls left and throws. No. Pass is complete. And there goes the shutout. 46-yard touchdown pass for the junior Hunter Lloyd. Mason Ross makes the catch and gets into the corner of the end zone, and the Cats give up their first points of the night. I know they're disappointed in that, but big picture, still moving forward. They will attempt an extra point. First time tonight, of course, we've seen that.
Not a scrimmage kick.
This is not a scrimmage kick. This is your run-of-the-mill. Been seeing this since no helmets were used on the football field. Here comes a kick. And it's good. It worked for him. All right, 2:13 to play in the ball game. 49-7. Cats up big. 30 seconds, and we're back to wrap it up on Conway Corp Channel 5.
When Conwegians cry out for programming freedom, a legend will rise to bring power to them all. Ninja 2. See the interface that has critics raving. Sleek new look. Love the customizable menu and filters. Whoa, there's my Netflix. Ninja 2, powered by Conway Corp. Now playing on a screen near you.
(49-7). Conway has the lead, just 2:13 to go in the ball game, and you can officially use the Sharpie and move over two more teams here, as Fayetteville is leading Little Rock Catholic now 45-10, so they've got their 35-point lead. Northside is leading Van Buren 35-0, so they have their 35-point lead. So next week, on the bottom half of the bracket, it's Bentonville playing host to Fort Smith Northside and Deuce Wise and that athletic team of Grizzlies, and Bryant playing host to Fayetteville, a rematch of their game that they had early in the non-conference season. We will be on the road at Bentonville West, a rematch of last year's game where we played the Wolverines in the second round of the tournament. And then the Springdale Southside game, Springdale up by 7 as they are approaching the fourth quarter of that game. No real surprises, I guess. Did you think everything's gone pretty much like you expected tonight?
Yeah, I didn't necessarily expect there to be so many early finishes, but
that's true.
You know, but that's what happens sometimes in the first round, especially just the way things worked out with Harbor slipping down.
That's right.
You got some teams that slipped up maybe to a seed that they really wouldn't have been in.
That's right. And that's the case with this Rogers team, is they got in just on the strength of being the team that won the game against Rogers Heritage as both of those teams were winless in the 7A West, and the winner of that game after Harbor's forfeit losses and then the loss to Fayetteville in Week 10 moved Rogers into this spot. So Rogers is going to end their season 3-7 overall, and Mike Lloyd and his son, who's the quarterback, will get ready for his senior year, and he's going to have a chance to play somewhere. I think just simply by his size. He's got 6'4", 200 pounds, knows the game, and we'll see what becomes of him. And as things have been going, we'll probably see him a year from tonight. And
Right.
we play Rogers in the first round of every state tournament. Nick McEwen takes a knee. And these Wampus Cats will celebrate. They'll be excited that their season is continuing, but then their focus is going to turn quickly to the Wolverines of Bentonville West High School.
3 interceptions for this defense, 5 rushing touchdowns for this offense. And, you achieved your main goal, which was to get your mojo back after that Bryant loss a week ago.
It was gone, right. Yeah, the mojo was definitely gone. Get the peanut gallery leaving now. It is a cold night. I don't know, the fingers are actually working on all the phones. All right, Nick McEwen takes a final knee, and that's going to do it. What a night for the Wampus Cats. Final score, 49-7. Conway gets the win, and they move on. Now 9-2 in the regular season, into the first game of the playoffs. Turn the tide back to the way that things needed to be. Now we'll look forward.
Let's get that 10th win.
I love it.
Let's get to 10.
Get to 10 next week, and we'll have the ball game for you live. Once again, this reminder, next week, 1 week from tonight, 6:50 on the air, 7 o'clock live from Bentonville West. We will be there with our broadcast like we've been all season long. Let's hope we continued on and work Black Friday once again.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. For our entire Channel 5 crew, great job as always. We appreciate them so very much, and we appreciate you for watching wherever you were tonight. Thank you. We'll see you next week with more Wampus Cat football on Conway Corp Channel 5.